on an extended edition of Primetime TV.
Who will be the man who replaces CM Punk in the WWE going forward?
John Cena and Kurt Angle both suffer injuries. How bad are they, and how long will they be out of action?
Why will we soon be hearing a lot more from Eric Bischoff?
Find out how you can meet Mean Gene Okerlund, Al Snow, DDP, and Jake the Snake Roberts right here in Milwaukee tomorrow.
All that and more right here, right now on PWR Primetime TV for Saturday, February 8th, 2014.
Gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time knockouts hardcore Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Straight edge, goat-faced hero.
Goat-faced?
Yeah.
You got the Bray Wyatt beard going. I don't have any of that stuff going on.
No.
Yeah, you got the
There's
Velcro
no Abigail
gimmick.
in my life.
No?
No.
You should have an Abigail.
I do have a sister.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us here, ladies and gentlemen. Another loaded show and another show that will go a full 1 hour's time, extending online at pwrshow.com after we go off the air here on My 24 Milwaukee. But let's first get to this week's big story, ladies and gentlemen. And last week, we entered a very spirited discussion about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, which led to an even more spirited discussion on our social media channels, including Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Spirited.
Okay. Just say it for what it is.
Oh, people watched Feedback Friday online yesterday,
yes,
so they
did.
And now, as we enter week 2 of CM Punk's walkout, we wanted to take a look at who might be the person to step into the very large shoes of the straight edge superstar.
Large shoes? He's like a 9 or 10 at best.
The problem is, when you look at the current top stars in WWE, you quickly realize that there is a lot of room at the top. Right now, the list of quote-unquote top stars in WWE seems to be limited to the following: John Cena, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, the aforementioned CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, part-time, Big Show, Batista, the Wyatts, The Shield, and Sheamus, I would say you could add into that list. On top of that, you have the ever-available Triple H and The Undertaker. So that leaves us to wonder who is next. You have several stars who I think can easily step into a role as CM Punk had, such as Dolph Ziggler, Roman Reigns, Mark Henry, Big E Langston, Antonio Cesaro. But let's take a look at each of them individually. And first, David, here I want to take a look at Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if you got a chance to check it out online, but on the Smackdown 2 weeks ago, he did a promo on the WWE app backstage and really was a bit of a work shoot. Talked about how great he was and how every night he delivers and how he's told he's too good and to stop being so damn good and that his time should be now. Dolph Ziggler, a man who resonates very well with the fans, a man who has the look, if you will. I think he's distinct enough and delivers every single night in that ring, David Hero. Could Dolph Ziggler be a benefactor of CM Punk's departure?
Well, Dolph Ziggler definitely has the work rate. He can definitely go in the ring. He can have a 60-minute match if need be, a 5-star match with whoever. But the one thing Dolph Ziggler lacks is the mic skills.
Really?
He's never.
You didn't see that promo?
One promo doesn't do it.
One promo doesn't, but one promo can introduce you.
But that promo was on the app. Now they have to.
It's on WWE.com as well.
They have to take that and go forward with it and let him grow with it and use it more often.
Well, but then of course, and we'll get to that when we talk about Raw later on in the broadcast, he gets pinned on Monday night just after this. Mm-hmm. In a 6-man tag match where easily.
Well, and for me, that was the problem with Monday Night Raw. You had 2 6-man tags. You had 6 guys outside of the Shield and the Wyatts that could take that next spot. And all 6 of those guys didn't shine. They didn't get the big push that they needed.
Dolph Ziggler, yes or no?
He is definitely a guy that could take CM Punk's spot. But here's what you have to look at. And I hate rehashing older stuff, but if John Cena is Hulk Hogan, mm-hmm. and Randy Orton is the Macho Man Randy Savage,
oh yeah,
and CM Punk is Roddy Piper, who replaces Roddy Piper?
Ziggler. He can do that.
But who is Dolph Ziggler then?
Piper.
I don't think so. Dolph Ziggler is more of a Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect.
Well, just because he looks like him and bumps like him doesn't make him him.
But they're more similar. He's not better than Mr. Perfect. Come on. So That's how you have to look at it. You're replacing the top 3 guy of the trio.
So Ziggler, no.
No.
Roman Reigns. No doubt, he's a clear star, and I know I'm beating this horse, and I am talking about Roman Reigns every chance I get because he is that damn good.
Well,
but can he?
We haven't really seen Roman Reigns in a singles match.
We have not seen. Well, we have. We saw him beat CM Punk last time he had a singles match.
But that's a lot, but not
shenanigans.
Yes. So we have to see how Roman Reigns does one-on-one. I think Roman Reigns definitely is that guy that could break into the top 3.
Mark Henry. I mean, we've been there, done that, but when he was a monster, when he was throwing the audio guys around and was the world's most dangerous man or whatever it might have been, I'd like to do it again.
No.
No?
Just because of age. He's been around too long, and they're not.
So, Big Show's too old, Batista's too old?
Yep.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What does it matter?
It matters a lot because you need 3 guys going forward that you can get 5 more years out of each guy.
All right. Big E Langston. An amazing amount of spirit and fire shown in the matchup this past Monday night on Raw. He is the Intercontinental Champion.
He is. He's great look, great charisma, great fire. I think he's been damaged by doing too many clean jobs lately. I don't know if he's top 3.
Antonio Cesaro, David Hero.
I think Cesaro, on work rate alone, can get him into the top 3.
On work rate alone?
Yes.
Can the fans get behind Cesaro?
They already are. He already has.
But he doesn't talk much.
No, that's fine. But he's kind of. I'm not saying he is like Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy doesn't talk much either. Jeff Hardy's over like Grover.
Yeah. Antonio Cesaro.
Antonio Cesaro, with his whirly bird spin.
Yeah.
That's a trademark. You know. I think Cesaro could easily take CM Punk's spot.
So you say Reigns, Cesaro.
Yes.
And maybe Langston.
Maybe Langston.
Of those 3, who would you select to hop into a top spot in WWE, replacing CM Punk?
Cesaro.
Really?
Absolutely.
Over Reigns?
Yes. Here's why. Cesaro can work with anybody. I don't know if Reigns can work with anybody.
You gotta start watching NXT.
No, I don't.
Roman Reigns is a great worker.
Yeah, that's fine, but we're not talking about NXT. We're talking about Monday Night Raw, the
about
flagship.
not being able to see. You talk about having not seen him in singles competition. He was in singles competition.
That's fine. He can be, but being on Raw is different than being on NXT. Yeah, crack that neck. See how that feels.
I'd like to give you now what I feel, from my own personal perspective, is the final word on CM Punk. And it goes as follows, David Hero. Please don't interrupt me. No chuckles, no smirks, no smiles, no laughs.
I can't guarantee any of that.
CM Punk is one of the greatest superstars in WWE. For that, there is no doubt at all. I said no chuckles, no smirks, no smiles, no laughs.
I rolled my eyes.
He is a wrestler who appreciates the good old days of wrestling. A man who pays tribute to some of the greatest stars ever when he steps in the squared circle, and a man who loves this business as much, if not more, than each and every one of us. Having had the opportunity to appreciate Punk in his days before Ring of Honor and WWE, I respect CM Punk. I truly do. I appreciate his contributions, I appreciate his talent, I appreciate his passion for the business. Whatever the reason CM Punk may have walked out, whatever justification he found within his soul, I just hope that we as wrestling fans get the chance once again to see Punk in a wrestling ring, doing what he loves and what we love to see him do, wrestle for the masses. Punk, we do want you back. But we realize that WWE can and will go on without you.
Wow. That's a ringing endorsement out of you.
I haven't endorsed CM Punk. I will be endorsing a new talent later in the broadcast, though.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
That's this week's big story, ladies and gentlemen. And
I don't get a last word on CM Punk?
It's probably going to be best for business if you didn't. Sure, last word on CM Punk.
Well, how do you think we get the Feedback Friday show so over?
You want to? Go ahead.
No, forget it.
You want? No, go ahead. You got a camera there. You got your little microphone on. Got your little mousse in your hair. Got your little
I will save that for the extended version.
Oh, well, it's going to be great. That's this week's big story, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back after this brief timeout.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Share your comments on tonight's stories by following along on Twitter and using the hashtag PWRTV. And Damian and Dave will continue to interact with you during the broadcast. And don't forget, we'll announce this week's winners of 2 tickets to WWE Milwaukee later in the show. There's still time to enter now at PWRshow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report. Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero here on My 24 Milwaukee. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. It is now time for this week's hot news. It's all the headlines you need in just around 2 minutes or less for those of you keeping score at home. PWInsider.com is reporting that WWE megastar John Cena has fallen victim to injury. Cena suffered a scratched eyeball last week and was removed from subsequent events as it was feared that he may have actually had a damaged cornea. Luckily, there was no damage done to the cornea, but Cena did suffer from a severely swollen eye, so much that it was swollen shut. Cena has since been cleared and will be featured in a match with Randy Orton on Monday's WWE Raw, as announced by Triple H this past Wednesday. It was a Cena-less Raw this past Monday night.
Punk, Cena, and Brock Lesnar weren't there.
But WWE is panicking, and creative doesn't know what to do, is what I keep reading.
That's what I heard, too.
In other injury news, Kurt Angle took to Twitter to update his fans on the rumors of his damaged knee. Angle said of the injury, and I quote, "For the rumors going around, I'm having simple orthoscopic surgery for a cartilage tear in my knee. I'm not in bad shape."
This is a guy who had a broken neck.
Broken freaking neck, as he says.
So.
Pictures leaked online last week of Kurt Angle being carted around in a wheelchair while over in the UK for TNA, which started a bunch of those rumors. PWTorch.com is reporting that former WCW president Eric Bischoff is branching out into podcast and radio hosting. Bischoff will host a weekly talk show as part of a partnership between Bischoff Hervey Entertainment and Paul Anderson Media Agency. The show, which currently is seeking distribution and syndication, is expected to be about political and social topics.
Can you imagine that?
He is a very, very staunch conservative.
Yes, he is.
Is Eric Bischoff.
I don't think
he likes our president.
I don't think you guys would ever do a podcast together.
I appreciate a different side of the different view.
Oh, what's that?
We could have. I'm not aligned to a.
Can you imagine you, Eric Bischoff, and Ken Anderson doing a podcast
No,
together?
then it's 2-on-1.
Why would it be 2-on-1?
Because Ken Anderson and
he's fair and balanced.
Are not necessarily similar politically.
Well, then who would you take on your side? You and Nash. You and Nash
yes.
against Bischoff
Perfect.
and Ken. That would be, wow, that could be pay-per-view worthy.
In a press release issued on Wednesday, Bischoff says that he will offer his view on multiple topics and will feature guests. WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross is also getting into the action, launching the Ross Report, which will be featured on Podcast One, which is the same outlet that produces the Austin and Jericho shows. That show will debut on February 19th. Speaking of podcasts, don't forget to check out the Double D podcast with David and myself each and every Monday. You can also get the audio edition of this very broadcast, PWR Primetime, on the Double D.
But we have a
week.
special guest on Monday's podcast, don't we?
We have a special guest scheduled for Monday's podcast, yes.
Oh, he'll be there. I'm not worried about that.
That's typical. Ring of Honor has announced a special event for their 12th anniversary. The event, titled HonorCon, will take place on February 22nd and will be free to the public. The event will be held in Philadelphia and will feature a major question and answer panel with Ring of Honor stars, an arm wrestling tournament, and a who's who of ROH talent will clash. And a very special announcement will also occur from Ring of Honor. All the details on that right now at ROHWrestling.com, and we will keep you up to date on all of these stories as they become available at PWRshow.com.
I think Jay Lethal wins the arm wrestling contest.
What's that?
Black Machismo. He'll freak out.
That's this week's hot news, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's go and look back at this past Monday's WWE Raw in the Raw Report. And let's go over the matches, David, here and talk about the wrestling action that took place this past Monday on Raw. The Shield defeated Big E, Langston, Kofi Kingston, and Rey Mysterio. As just as we saw last night on SmackDown, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, a little bit of a one-upsmanship, I guess you can call it, as they are forcing each other into the matchup or stealing each other's pinfall victories, the Shield, the disintegration of the Shield, seems to be on an accelerated course.
And I'm not a big fan of that. Like I've said, I wish they would keep them together, but obviously Ambrose is jealous of the success of Roman Reigns.
It's perfect.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, whenever tag teams split, there's always a Shawn Michaels and a Marty Jannetty, or a Bret Hart and a Jim Neidhart. It's not going to end well for
there's
somebody.
three of these guys.
Okay.
Somebody's got to be Crush.
Well, that didn't end well for him.
Kona Crush. The Wyatt family defeated Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, and Xavier Woods when Bray Wyatt plants Ziggler with the sister Abigail. Again, as we said earlier, Dolph Ziggler took the pin in that matchup.
After he got kissed. Then he got...
Christian defeated Jack Swagger, Jack Swagger going for the Swagger bomb, and he ended up in a roll-up and getting pinned by Christian. What about Swaggy lately?
You know, I think he's a great talent. I've always been a Jack Swagger guy. It's a matter of time before the Real Americans split up also, which is a shame.
Really?
They're a great tag
I don't pick
team.
that vibe at all.
It's going to happen eventually.
Well, Cesaro's in the chamber, Swagger is not. There's some potential jealousy there.
Right. So who knows? Maybe Cesaro and Reigns can team against Swagger and Ambrose.
In the highlight of 2014, within the confines of a steel cage so far, the New Age Outlaws retained the WWE Tag Team Championships in a steel cage match against the Rhodes Brothers. Cody Rhodes, of course, steals the show as he ascends 20 feet in the air to the top of the steel cage. Nothing up there but air. As he then moonsaults onto the Road Dogg.
No, he didn't. He missed.
He did not miss. Road Dogg missed. Don't you dare. He missed. He hit him.
He crashed and burned.
He did subsequently lose the match after that, but it doesn't matter because he was the star.
Why? Because he looked good in losing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Denver looked okay in the Super Bowl, and they lost.
The cheerleaders did. That was about it.
What didn't you like about this match? What's your hate for Cody this week?
I don't have any hate for Cody.
He just exuded it.
He lost the match for his team.
He
Why do you got to go to the top of the cage?
Why are they still tag team champions? I felt this would be a short-term situation.
Road Dogg and Billy?
Yes.
They're the New Age Outlaws. They're part of DX. I don't know why they're still the tag team champions. Obviously, they're selling T-shirts.
Your hatred for the endorsed talents is just disgusting.
I don't hate.
He crashed and burned.
He did.
He missed.
He didn't? He didn't crash and burn.
No,
Tell me he didn't.
He executed a moonsault, a spectacular move on top of the cage, to Road Dogg,
and did he win?
Ultimately,
did he win out of it? Did he win out of it? I asked you 3 times. Did he win out of it? No. He crashed and burned.
Don't challenge me on whether or not I'm answering a question you ask when you still, to this day, after all these years, have never answered one question I've asked you.
Cal is my son.
Titus O'Neil defeats Zack Ryder. Titus O'Neil, good showing in that matchup. Surprised to see Zack Ryder back on WWE television.
I think Zack Ryder was surprised to see Zack Ryder on Monday Night Television.
Woo, woo, woo.
You know what? I'm just impressed he got new gear. I mean, he's obviously been waiting for this moment for quite a while.
The only way Emma's dancing could have been worse on Raw this past Monday night was if she did do the little kicks of Elaine Bennis.
Wow.
Which we saw Vicky Guerrero do.
Talk about
years ago.
That does not get anybody over. I actually felt bad for her. I'm thinking, is this supposed to? I mean, even Santino felt uncomfortable with it.
I think she was supposed to look unpolished. And it was a dance contest between Summer Rae and Emma from NXT. Santino Marella and Fandango, of course, involved with
They're lucky that didn't go the other way because Summer Rae should have got all the cheers.
Sheamus gets a win over Curtis Axel, but a little weirdness at the end of that matchup as Ryback comes down as Sheamus was getting that win and sort of eyes up Sheamus from ringside.
Well, that's obviously going to be a match going forward.
Sheamus and Ryback.
I could kind of like Billy Jack Haynes and Hercules Hernandez from WrestleMania.
Oh, wow. WrestleMania 5?
3.
Feels like it.
It was 3.
Was it? Naomi got a win over Oksana, and kudos go out to Naomi because she got knocked the heck out by Oksana in that matchup as Oksana took a knee and drove it right down into the eye of Naomi, and you could see clearly in that matchup when that happened, Naomi a bit flustered and confused clearly after that.
She was hot about it.
After that, but still able to complete the matchup and finish the matchup. A tough diva she is.
You know what? Naomi has impressed me. She's come a long way. The rear view is getting over like no other, and I just felt bad. I mean, that looked like it hurt.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was like all of her body weight on her eye socket.
Back and to the left. Daniel Bryan gets a win over Randy Orton, but Kane comes out and attacks Daniel Bryan at the end of the matchup. It looks like Daniel Bryan might be that guy replacing Punk at WrestleMania.
Well, he has to be the guy to replace Punk because he's number 3. He's not really Roddy Piper. He's Ricky Steamboat. And I can see Steamboat being in the top 3.
A couple of random things from Raw. And we're going to talk more about Punk versus Triple H later. I'm sorry, not Punk, but Daniel Bryan versus Triple H later, because something we talked about here on this broadcast and then took it to Twitter, and I'm surprised at the feedback we got from that. But you asked about the ratings.
Oh, yeah. How was that main event?
Well, Raw overall was viewed by less people this week than it was last week. And the final hour of Raw, they lost about 200,000 or 300,000 viewers from the first hour to the second hour, and then from the second hour to the third hour.
So ratings went down
as they
in the
have been
third hour.
every week. So there was no real statistical change in the ratings.
With the yes movement in the main event.
It didn't do any worse than other weeks have.
No, but they still dropped. You know what? Just call it what it is. He didn't elevate the ratings. And that's a shame, because I blame all of you people out there for not calling your friends to say, hey, Daniel Bryan's in the main event, let's support him.
We'll have more on Raw,
because you know they look at that
on
stuff.
A big champion returning next week, Batista and Del Rio, and why was Jerry Lawler confronting Wade Barrett, and why is Miz so angry? We'll talk about all that in the extended edition
His
of PrimeTime.
His career is in the toilet.
PWRshow.com immediately following this broadcast. And now let's take it on over to Linda Kay with our Milwaukee edition of the Event Center. Linda, take it away.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Tomorrow afternoon, join the PWR team at Milwaukee's BMO Harris Bradley Center for the Milwaukee Admirals Salute to Wrestling as they take on the Chicago Wolves. The annual event will feature appearances by Mean Gene Okerlund, DDP, and Jake the Snake Roberts, and is included in admission to the Admirals game. The fun starts at 12 noon. HBK is coming to Milwaukee. See the WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels at the World of Wheels in Milwaukee at State Fair Park on Saturday, February 22nd from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Get details and more info now at Autorama.com. Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee on March 7th with a blockbuster show at Turner Hall. Tickets are available right now at tickets.com. That's it for this week's Event Center presented by Gruber Law Offices. And now let's find out who David Hero has chosen as this week's Diamond of the Ring.
This week's Robert Hack Diamonds of the Ring are your current WWE Tag Team Champions of the World, the Road Dogg Jesse James and the Badass Billy Gunn, defeating
Should be Cody Rhodes
and Goldust. Actually, Goldust can also be one of the Diamonds of the Ring. Those 3 Attitude Era stars, once again, telling an amazing story, showing the world how to work a match and tell a story and have fun. This week's Robert Hack Diamonds of the Ring, the place where they pay cash for gold. The Road Dogg Jesse James, Billy Gunn, and Goldust.
Milwaukee. On Tuesday, February 25th, WWE returns for the first time in 2014 with a huge WWE Smackdown. See all your favorite superstars live, including John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Alberto Del Rio, the Deranged Wyatt family, the Hounds of Justice, The Shield, and many more. WWE Smackdown live in Milwaukee, Tuesday, February 25th. Tickets are available. WWE, the best value in entertainment.
WWE Smackdown is coming back to Milwaukee for a huge Smackdown TV taping on February 25th, and it's now time to announce this week's winner. Congratulations to Brock White. You just scored 2 tickets to WWE Smackdown. Entries will be reset tomorrow morning at PWRshow.com, so be sure to head over and enter to win from PWR and My24 Milwaukee. Also, PWR would like to thank you for making last week's edition of Primetime TV one of the most watched episodes ever. We sincerely thank you for your support here on My24 Milwaukee and on our YouTube channel.
Don't miss your chance to catch the best pro wrestling on the planet. Ring of Honor Wrestling invades Milwaukee at the Turner Hall Ballroom Saturday, March 7th with a 7:30 p.m. bell time. With appearances by Playboy cover girl and First Lady of ROH, Maria Kanellis.
You know you want to see me live and in person.
Mr. Wrestling himself, Kevin Steen,
I will package pile drive everybody.
and many more. Experience body slamming, suplex crushing, brain busting, pro wrestling action live. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, PrimeTime Saturday night. Damian Nelson today alongside David Hero. And we're about to go into the final leg of our broadcast here on My24 Milwaukee. And then the show will continue online at PWRshow.com.
You bumped DWHS to the online version?
DWHS will happen online. We'll talk more about WWE Raw. We'll also go in-depth on the stars the fans made. All that happening online at PWRshow.com immediately following this broadcast. But before we do that, let's talk about this past Thursday's TNA Impact Wrestling. David Hero. It was Impact Glasgow from Scotland.
Scotland.
And I thought it was a fantastic episode of Impact, to be honest with you. Let's go over the matches that happened on Impact. And first, it was Austin Aries defeating Zema Ion, retaining the X Division Championship. Zema Ion attacking Austin Aries from the back. A little distraction for the bromans on the stage. Zema attempts to cash in and get the win after hitting Austin Aries with the briefcase. However, that would not be successful. Austin Aries wrestled him in jeans.
He did, and beat him cleanly in jeans.
The Monsters Ball match actually opened the show. It was Abyss versus Eric Young. Abyss winning that matchup. However, he would be unmasked after bringing Janice into the ring, revealing himself as Joseph Park and a mirror in the face.
Wait, aren't they just twin brothers?
That answer is forthcoming, I believe. But great matchup between those two great talents. They started in the back, worked their way out the arena, into the matchup, into the ring, and well done, I thought.
Both guys told a great story. They were telling a story in a pro wrestling match. How does that happen?
Wow, it's fascinating. Abyss or Joseph Park?
I like both guys. I love the character of Joseph Park. I like the aggression of Abyss.
Well, we'll continue talking about Impact in just a moment. Again, here in Milwaukee on My24. The show continues at PWRshow.com. Thank you for joining us here on My24 Milwaukee, and thank you for staying with us here on PWRshow.com.
We have Al Snow tomorrow at Southridge, signing autographs.
Like Linda talked about in the event center?
Yeah, so don't forget that.
No, I didn't forget that.
Well, you don't show up sometimes.
Continuing talking about Impact Wrestling, folks, Kurt Angle beat Magnus by disqualification in a non-title matchup. Magnus did so via DQ after, Magnus lost via disqualification after EC3 prevented him from tapping out to the ankle lock. Magnus and Kurt Angle, David Hero. Kurt Angle taken out on a stretcher after that matchup.
Yes, he was. He was beaten down like just never before. These
mule?
young lions, Magnus, EC3, the Bromans, it's almost like you don't need Sting and AJ Styles or even Jeff Hardy right now.
And again, as we talked about last week, not a reflection on their talent, because all three are very talented individuals, but they're not necessary. I thought this past Thursday's Impact was one of the best episodes they've ever done. And as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make.
Oh my goodness.
And I am here to declare yet another endorsement and a member of the Nelson family. And for those of you who know, this is the most elite group, the standard of excellence in professional wrestling. It is led by Cody Rhodes, and on that team are names such as Heath Slater, Bully Ray, Eve Torres, all endorsed along with Dolph Ziggler as well. These are the top talents in the business, ladies and gentlemen. These are the top guys in the business, the people who define the Nelson family.
The people.
And I am pleased to add yet one more name to this very elite list. I would like to welcome the one and the only Rockstar Spud to the list of the endorsed talents. David, he is absolutely #tremendous. And tremendous in what he doesn't do, more so than what he does do. And what he doesn't do is steal a scene, but he does steal every scene he's in. He is the star, the rock star, if you will, and he's now endorsed.
I hope you finally get some heat. Because if I would have said that,
Temperature's perfectly
I'm
fine in here.
delusional. But you say it.
What's wrong with Rockstar Spud?
You know,
is he too small?
No, well, I like Rockstar Spud. I think he serves a great role. I think he's a great character. I think he does a fantastic job.
He's one of the best talents and best characters in wrestling right now, by far.
He is, because he gets it. But wow, I thought you would have picked like EC3.
And he watches Magnum TA.
I thought you would have picked EC3.
EC3 is a great talent. Yes.
He's more your type.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying, he's just more your type of guy.
The Nelson
Arrogant.
family is a very diverse group of talents.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Please show me.
You tell me, okay, so how are Bully Ray and Cody Rhodes the same person? How are they type?
They're not. They're both former tag team champions.
Does your arm ever get tired from reaching so much?
Your team is far from diverse.
Oh, yeah, okay. Eve Torres, yeah. I think of her and I think of Heath Slater.
Oh, so you have a Latin woman on your team. Now it's diverse all of a sudden.
That's not at all what I said.
Oh,
That's not at all what I said.
Eve Torres.
Rockstar Spud, a great talent.
Oh, he's
even
British.
Though this guy,
okay, I get it. There you go. Yeah, I see. Go ahead.
I still want you to tell me what's wrong with Rockstar Spud and why he can't be endorsed, why he's not a member of the Nelson family. You're just upset because you didn't pick him on your little Mighty Mouse Club team?
No, I like Rock. I told you I like Rockstar Spud. I think he's a fantastic. I'm just surprised you'd endorse him.
It's the details, and it's how he executes. When they were in the back and MVP was, or EC3 was sitting there with Dixie Carter and he was about to grab some of the vegetables or food. I'm sorry, that's for our guest tonight. And then pouring the champagne and just everything he does in the background is just absolutely fantastic.
He's proper. He's British.
You know?
Yeah, you know.
Congratulations, Rockstar Spud. I'm pleased to welcome you here to the Nelson family.
Well, I'm sure he's pleased to be here, too.
Samoa Joe beat Robert Roode again to become the #1 contender for the championship.
You know, eventually they're going to get to Bobby Roode and Magnus. And I think it's going to be a very good match.
Bobby Roode and Magnus, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a big fan of Samoa Joe and Magnus again. I saw it a few times when I was out east.
Uh-huh. For New Year's in Poughkeepsie?
Yes, in Poughkeepsie. It's just weird how Samoa Joe is #1 contender. Out of nowhere.
Do you not agree? Who else should it be?
I think Bobby Roode could definitely be. I mean, right now, the usual #1 contenders have been Sting and AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy. They're gone. So now they have to recreate new #1 contenders, and it's not going to be James Storm, even though I think James Storm and Magnus could be an interesting dynamic. Yeah. He's British in the redneck cowboy. But I don't know if going forward with Samoa Joe and Magnus is the right match for the Lockdown pay-per-view.
Konnichiwa! Curryman was back. I love Curryman.
I miss Curryman, Super Eric.
Yes.
And Shark Boy.
Yes. Fun characters in TNA, and I love how they can just bring it out at their need. However, it would be Bully Ray who would take care of Curryman.
He doesn't like curry.
Stuffing him in the casket, I believe, on Impact this past Thursday night. Now, of course, coming up in a few weeks, he's got the casket match with Mr. Anderson. And that should be interesting.
You know, and those two guys, they've been clicking.
Yes,
their matches have been pretty solid, and even their promos back and forth have been better than expected.
Dixie Carter was good this week, David Hero. Backstage, pre-taped, clearly heavily edited, but didn't take away from them. I thought it was fantastic. I really liked the interaction with her and Spud and MVP.
Whoever would have thought MVP and Dixie Carter would be having backstage vignettes together?
Right. From Glasgow, Scott.
Only in professional wrestling. Only.
Again, I thought it was a solid show from Impact. And again, as you said last week, David Hero, the crowd makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
It does. It looked like an event. That crowd, say what you want if it was papered or whatnot, but it was in an arena, great lighting, great atmosphere, and they did a fantastic job.
That they did, and kudos to TNA Impact Wrestling. Hell, that might have been actually, I'm going to say it. It was the best episode of professional wrestling this week on TV.
Was
Impact
TNA?
on Thursday night.
Really?
Yeah. Better than SmackDown, better than Raw.
Better than main event? How about how about that Super Friend T-shirt?
I didn't see it. My monitor went out.
Of course.
Let's talk about SmackDown now, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go over the matches that occurred on that show. The Shield, which of course includes U.S. Champion Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, along with Seth Rollins, beat Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. Well, that was Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns who wrestled and beat Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. Of course, again, Dolph Ziggler is the person who gets pinned in that matchup. And it was Dean Ambrose who pinned him.
Why does that bother you so much?
Because
he's an endorsed talent. Good luck with that, Rockstar Spud. Either you crash and burn off a cage, or you do jobs for the Shield. or you do jobs to any other six-man tag and, 3MB, and then or you retire like Eve Torres.
Your insolence is very troubling.
I'm not on insulin.
Of course, after the matchup, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns get into it a bit again, with Rollins in the middle trying to moderate. The Wyatts then appear on the screen and are their normal creepy selves. And the Shield says that they think Bray Wyatt is a facade, or Bray Wyatt says the Shield thinks he's a facade, and pretty soon they're going to find out how real he actually is. Still loving this matchup that's going to occur at the Elimination Chamber, the Wyatts versus the Shield.
That matchup will be good. It depends if the other two Wyatts can pick up their game.
The other two being Ambrose and Rollins?
No, the other two Wyatts.
Oh, Wyatts, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Now, here's my question. Is that match better off at the Elimination Chamber or at WrestleMania?
I would much rather see it at WrestleMania.
Is there a reason you think they're doing it at the Chamber? Is that when the split occurs?
I think so.
Then you get
because they have they have bigger plans for both teams at WrestleMania.
They have bigger plans for Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns specifically.
Well, no, because they're going to have Reigns is going to have to battle the Shield, one or both of the other two guys at Mania.
It looks like the stare down between Ryback and Sheamus from Raw only resulted in a matchup between the two on SmackDown last night. It was a match. It wasn't bad, wasn't great. Sheamus wins, defeating Ryback.
The bro kick.
Daniel Bryan gets a win over Antonio Cesaro. He makes Cesaro submit. After the matchup, Kane comes out again. Bryan is attacked by Cesaro. Kane then hits a choke slam on Bryan. And it seems as if, again, David Hero, that you just take a pink pearl eraser and erase CM Punk's name on the booking sheet and write in Daniel Bryan.
Of course, it'd be pink and pearl.
Those are great erasers. What kind of eraser do you use? The white ones on the end of pencils?
I don't make
those
mistakes.
Don't erase nothing.
I don't make mistakes. I use a Sharpie.
AJ Lee got a win over Brie Bella, making her submit. A lot of submissions on SmackDown this past Friday, just last night, rather. Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan beat Goldust and wait a minute.
Bray Wyatt,
Goldust, who had Luke Harper and Eric Rowan with him, defeated Goldust, who had Cody Rhodes with him.
Yes.
Better?
Sure.
Sister Abigail on Goldust for the pin and the win. Anything bad you want to say about Cody Rhodes this time?
He wasn't there for his brother.
The World Heavyweight Champion Randy
Orton. Why did he
Orton
break up the pinfall?
defeated Christian with an RKO. The match was non-title.
How about them apples?
As we know, Randy Orton over the course of the next few weeks has to take on each and every person who's in the Elimination Chamber matchup, and on Monday, his next opponent will be John Cena.
Just punch him in the eye. Then you can beat him. Wouldn't you? Let's see if he works the eye. If you're really fighting someone, you got to go for it, right? Doing a haku, rip it right out.
That's this week's SmackDown report, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, you have exhausted me. Truly, you have exhausted me.
You say that every week.
No, I don't, actually. If I do, I don't mean it as much as I do now. So much so, we're going to take a break. And actually, during this break, David Hero, Linda's got a very special announcement because, the PWR draft is coming to an end at WrestleMania. So it's apparently, marketing has decided it's time to shake things up again. We'll be back in just a moment.
I went on down to the Audubon Zoo and they all asked for you. They all asked for you. Well, they even inquired about you.
Time to shake things up in the PWR draft. The Super Friends are in the lead with 2,290 points, and trailing not far behind is the Nelson family with 2,040 points. There are only 3 events remaining before we declare a winner at WrestleMania. But
Keep going, Linda.
Things are about to get a bit more interesting before that. Next week, right here on Primetime, Damien and Dave will duke it out again as they participate in the draft wild card. Each time, let's lock in each person must lock in 10 of their current roster stars and then reset and pick 10 new stars for each team. If you've seen the PWR draft before, you know that you should expect the unexpected when the wildcard draft takes place right here next week on Primetime.
Really? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Who are you calling?
SoCal Val.
Why?
She wants to talk to me.
I find that incredibly difficult to believe. This is the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. It's the extended edition here online at PWRshow.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero.
Why would I make that up?
How do you make up half the stuff you make up when you sit here each and every
I don't
week?
make up anything. You know it's true.
You made up those numbers in the draft. I don't know how you're ahead. Barely.
I have a quality team of super friends.
And that's been your downfall for the last 2 years.
And I'm winning without CM Punk.
You talk about these endorsed stars, as I have endorsed Rockstar Spud.
Okay.
You talk about these endorsed stars being nothing. Yet they've beat you in the draft for the last 2 years.
They've cheated.
How? Please explain to me how we've cheated.
Technicalities.
Technicalities such as?
Heath Slater.
What about it? He was on WrestleMania, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He made an appearance on
crock that
WrestleMania
was.
and thus gave me the draft by 5 points. Absolutely he did.
Yes.
Yes.
And last year, you tripped me.
Let's go back
Where
and
is your
talk more.
trophy? You know, since we moved to the studios, I haven't seen it.
Where is my trophy, Andrew? Is it around here anywhere? It's in one of those boxes. Linda, do you mind? I think it is worth noting that, worth showing the audience my trophy. It's got to be in one of the boxes over there. You should have unpacked all that stuff, by the way.
It's not my job. I don't do manual labor.
Let's go back and finish talking about WWE Raw from this past Monday night, David Hero. And we found out that Mark Henry is going to be returning next week.
Well, you just go like this and everything happens, doesn't it? You're going to tear this entire room apart looking for your trophy.
Well, because it shouldn't A, be in a box, B, it should be on the mantle.
Mantle?
Yes, there's a fireplace in the lobby.
The last time I saw
Will you get back on track?
Where are we? Look at that.
Thank you, Linda.
Look what I found.
Thank you so much. Look at that.
Why don't you blow it off?
PWR draft.
It's all dusty.
It's not dusty at all. I look great in it.
Dusty Flux, right there. It's going to be mine anyhow this year.
I feel like my Slammies. I've got a great cast.
You got a good grip there.
Yes, I do. Don't want to break it.
Nope.
Means a lot to me.
It's like your shake weight, huh?
Raw. Mark Henry, David Hero. He's back.
Yeah.
Next Monday night.
It doesn't mean anything.
Why are you so cynical? Why do you hate the wrestling business?
I don't.
You do.
What are they going to do with Mark Henry?
Well, I don't know. We talked about him possibly being a replacement.
They gave him a match with John Cena last year after the fake retirement.
Which was great.
It was fantastic. What happens? He taps out. He's damaged. Mark Henry now is a novelty act. What, so Brock Lesnar, so he can feed him to Brock Lesnar?
I'd want to see that match. I think it'd be fun. He's a credible threat to Brock.
No, he's not. Not going into WrestleMania, nobody is. But hey, if that's what you want to see, I'll let you watch that match.
Batista.
Yes.
Not much of a reaction for the Animal as he comes out into the arena, and him and Del Rio go face to face. Do you care?
Not really. Just because Del Rio is just being fed to Batista to get Batista over.
I don't know if that's going to work.
You know what? They chose a guy that is hated in Del Rio, who's a true heel in the company, to try to get some babyface reaction for Batista. It's unfortunate for Del Rio. He's better than that. He goes from being one of the top guys on SmackDown all year long to being fed to Batista on Monday Night Raw.
That's not a better thing?
No, it's not. He needs to get over on Batista. It's not going to happen now.
What about Bad News Barrett? Jerry Lawler interrupting him this past Monday night. Are we going to the obligatory, want to get a heel over, have him face off with Jerry Lawler, who's loved by the fans, matchup? Or is Jerry going to get another match at WrestleMania?
You know what? I kind of like the whole Bad News Barrett thing.
It's growing on me.
It is growing on me. But he's a far better wrestler than he is doing the Bad News Barrett thing.
Yes. Yes, he is.
And they don't know, I don't know where they got the idea from. I don't know why they think that's entertaining.
Because I think on paper it is.
Yeah, but it doesn't translate very well on TV. Because no one's really he's not getting any real heat.
He's almost got to be like Ron Simmons was when he would walk in and say, damn. You know, somebody's doing a promo or something's happening, and he's that guy who comes out, I've got some bad news.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
But
that man lift probably ain't cheap.
What was that?
That man lift probably isn't cheap.
No. I've never used a man lift before.
Because you don't do manual labor.
There you go.
The Miz is angry, folks. But why? Comes out, hops on the microphone during a matchup with Zack Ryder and Titus O'Neil. Why are they out there? I am better than this.
You know
I should be in that match. Why?
Have you seen his hair? Have you seen his look?
I've seen his fiance.
Yeah, well, that's great and all, but when he used to be the WWE champion.
He's also endorsed, by the way. Man who headlined WrestleMania 27.
Yeah,
beat John Cena.
And what has he done since?
Doesn't matter what he's done since. It's what he did after being endorsed and after I supported him, and you see what happens to endorsed talents at that point.
Yeah, they fail
back
after
to the Miz.
a while.
Why is he angry?
Because his career's in the toilet. He's not, even his dad won't cheer for him at a live event. That should make anybody hot.
That is the rest of WWE Raw from this past Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. It's now time, though, to hear, well, I guess some people look forward to it, to hear this week's edition of DAA.
The spoken word.
The spoken word.
WrestleMania is still 2 months away, and the way the IWC fandom is reacting, you would think it would be tomorrow night. So far, the only thing that is certain about WrestleMania is that Dave Bautista will get a shot at the WWE World Champion. That's it. Yes, there's lots of rumors and speculation of who John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and even The Undertaker may battle, but still nothing has been announced. In today's day and age, we want information now. We don't want it to wait, and if we have to wait, we will make up our own news. CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan probably will not headline this year's WrestleMania. It may never headline a WrestleMania, but rest assured that 70,000 people will pack the Superdome. The pyro will still go off, and WrestleMania will be a huge success. You cannot stop the machine. Just look at the Super Bowl. The NFL fans got the match they wanted, and it was terrible. Vince McMahon knows what you want, and that's a Super Friends shirt in the front row of SmackDown. And with that, David Hero has spoken.